So I never made a recipe because I never ate potatoes and beans together. So I never made a recipe because I never ate potatoes and beans together. Always been with rice. So what's wrong with beans and potatoes? Absolutely nothing. Everything is in this pan except the scallions and the cilantro and the potatoes. I'm going to sweat this up. All the seasonings are in there. This will take about 5 minutes. Then I'm going to add the beans, which were washed or not washed. I don't remember. The tomato sauce will go here, the chicken stock, and let that cook for an hour, and then I'm going to add the potatoes. Because I'm afraid if I add the potatoes now, what's going to happen? They're going to disintegrate. And I don't want to cook them separate because I want that starch in here. So this will go for about 10 minutes, moderate flame, you don't hear it sizzling hard, and then we'll continue. Together. Always been with rice. So what's wrong with beans and potatoes? Absolutely nothing. Everything is in this pan except the scallions and the cilantro and the potatoes. I'm going to sweat this up. All the seasonings are in there. This will take about 5 minutes. Then I'm going to add the beans, which were washed or not washed. I don't remember. The tomato sauce will go here, the chicken stock, and let that cook for an hour, and then I'm going to add the potatoes. Because I'm afraid if I add the potatoes now, what's going to happen? They're going to disintegrate. And I don't want to cook them separate because I want that starch in here. So this will go for about 10 minutes, moderate flame, you don't hear it sizzling hard, and then we'll continue. Let's see how we're doing. Yes, that looks good. That's sweated up enough. Now we'll add the tomato sauce. It just so happens that I had that in the freezer. It's not plain tomato sauce, it has some mushrooms in it. But you know what? Doesn't matter if you had a leftover tomato sauce, no matter what's in there. And there's the chicken stock. And now the beans. Oh geez, I forgot to soak them. You know why? Because I got up this morning and I said, I want to make a recipe with beans because now I'm out. And what could I make it with? Try potatoes. Oh, good idea. So, can you soak them for an hour? I don't think so. Anyway, that's the beans. So, no, not to worry about the salt and pepper. You know, maybe I'll make it 3 cups. Because this is like a stew, you can always season it at the end. Not like a steak. If you're broiling a steak, you can't. You want to season when you're cooking it so the flavor goes through. Okay. I'm pretty sure that pot is going to be large enough for everything. I could have used that big pot, but I forgot. Anyway, that takes care of that. So I'm going to come back after this comes to a boil, which it has to. Then I'm going to set the timer for 1 hour. And then after 1 hour, I'm going to put the potatoes in. And hopefully, everything will be finished cooking together. So, let's set this for 35 minutes. Excuse me, an hour. Now I can go back to listening to my Ozzy Osbourne album. And if something happens where this is not going to be large enough, yeah, it will be. It'll be plenty big. Put a lid on it. Let it come to a boil, and we'll cook it very slowly for an hour. Okay, it's been an hour. Let's see what we got. Well, we know for sure we're going to have to add soft banging, sorry. When I add the potatoes, I'm also going to have to add another quart of liquid, and the liquid's going to be water. Because the strength of the stock is in there, even though it's reduced, so it's still in there. If that makes any sense. And there's the potatoes. Not too big, not too small. That's a little over a half a quart, which hopefully will be enough. Now we got to raise the flame so this keeps. So after an hour, I take one bean and just see how it chews. Oh, so in about a half hour, everything in here should be done, hopefully. And the flavor is pretty good. I'm not adding any salt. You see all that smoked ham that was in there? That's very salty. So I don't need salt. All I need is pepper. And pepper is, for me, is sriracha hot chili sauce, which I will add soon. I don't have to add it now. And I will also add the cilantro in about 15 minutes. I'm not in the mood to put it in yet. There's no rush. The cilantro flavor goes in there and permeates immediately, if that's the correct usage. Yeah, this is good. I like the color. I still taste the tomato in there. And always give it a taste as you're going along. That looks like enough potatoes for me. It's really beans with potatoes, not potatoes with beans or potato bean. It's with the potatoes, so it doesn't have to be a hell of a lot, but then you could add more if you want. Let's just taste the broth. I love the flavor of tomato. Subtle, it's in there, and the oregano. This is working out well. Let me lower this and come back in a half hour. Well, after 15 minutes, I start to think, what is really healthy in here? A few things. The ham isn't, but it makes it taste good. And I have space because the liquid is pretty good. I could add any colored quinoa. So now I feel better about this. There's a healthy item in there, amongst a few other healthy items. Well, this is 10-quart pan. I mean, no, it's not 10 quarts. Take back what I said. Anyway, I'll measure the amount here. And usually for me, if I'm going to eat this for a meal, I eat about a half a quart. And at the same time with the quinoa, put the cilantro. Why do I put cilantro in there? You know why? Every time, so we go to Mexico once a year. I don't know if we're going to be getting there this year. But I associate cilantro with black beans. So, and I love the taste of cilantro. If you don't like cilantro, put parsley. Anyway, that's why I do that. Anyway, you add the quinoa if you want quinoa in there when you add the potatoes. And now the scallions are going in. And if you want to save some scallions to sprinkle over, or just make more scallions for the top, and these scallions are going in here. And we're shutting the flame off. This way when we serve this, at least this time, not when you reheat it because they'll change color, but now they're green. And there we go. Now I want to see what this looks like in a plate. And you add the sriracha, the amount you like. I have to be careful because I would add more, but my wife, she can't take the hot like I can. I got used to hot stuff when I lived in New Orleans, and used to have to eat those crawdads. Those were spicy hot. And then in the kitchen, I learned, watching everybody else eating pork chop sandwiches with Tabasco sauce, I had to get in with the crowd. Anyway, this is done. I'm put it in a little plate, bowl. See how it is. Now, of course, I'm going to freeze a lot of this. And this, right here, that is a meal, and that is heavy in weight. I hope you enjoy it.